Hi, my name is Ramo, and my research question is on measuring customer satisfaction to their telecom options by looking at a survey response and a telecom services data set. So according to my research, customer satisfaction is measured using 4 metrics, which are the overall measure of satisfaction, the loyalty to brand, the emotional responses to services or products, and the intention to repurchase. The last measure, the intention to repurchase, prompted my research question, which is, are customers with children more likely to have multiple telecom services? And how satisfied are they with the number of options they have? So to answer the research question, I did my querying in the PG admin Postgres environment, which is right here. So to answer the question, I loaded my external files, the survey responses and services files, into the database, which already included other information on the customer. So to create those 2 tables, I use this query right here. It includes these columns: customer ID, internet service, phone, multiple, online security, online backup, device protection, and tech support. So I would run this query, go to my tables section here, refresh, and that creates my services table. And then now I need to load my data into this table. And to do that, I use the import functionality, which was, I would right click on the table, import, export, import, and then select my services.csv file, select the header, then hit OK. And that successfully created my services table, and I did the same thing for my survey responses table. So the telecom company should refresh the database anytime either of the external sources, these 2 sources, are updated to reflect the most recent services and survey responses. Okay, and then now going back to my PowerPoint. So the following slide shows the required fields from the customer table and the 2 external sources. So the customer table requires the customer ID and children field. The survey responses table requires the customer ID and the options field. And the services table requires the customer ID and the multiple fields. And okay, so now both the external sources are imported as tables into our database, and then the next step is to identify the relationships between all the tables in the database that are used to answer my research question. And that's what's shown in the next image right here. So there is a one-to-many relationship between the customer table and the survey responses table, since a customer can respond to multiple surveys, and there is a 1-to-1 relationship between the customer table and the services table, because each customer only needs 1 record to identify the types of services they have. Okay. Okay, and my research question looks at the relationship between the number of children customers have and whether customers have multiple services, and then it explores how customers responded to the number of options they have. And this is the query that I used to generate that data set. And to show what that is, I'm gonna run this query in the PG admin environment as well. So I have that query here. If I hit run, this is the data that looks at that question. Okay, and then go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, and then this next slide shows the count statement that is used to count the number of customers that have children and multiple services. So, and a similar count query was used to find the number of customers that have children and only one service. So the number of customers with children and multiple services is 3,383, and the number of customers with children and a single service is 4,047. The results show that having children is not a determinant of whether customers have multiple services. And then using the same data set, we can explore how satisfied customers with children are with their services options compared to customers without children. So my data set was updated in Excel with the column that identifies whether customers have children. And then this data set was imported into Tableau, and the visual shown here was created to analyze the relationship between having children and the satisfaction to the services options, or the options that customers have. So this visual shows that there is no difference in the distribution of responses among customers with children and without children. Okay, and based on the results of my research question, or the result to the research question, it would be better to use a different customer variable, such as income or age, instead of the number of children, to explore if there is a relationship between those variables and whether customers have multiple services. And that's the end of my presentation.